Namaste, hello, and welcome to the Indian Abroad on NDTV. I'm your host, Priyanka Deo. Today's topic, Trump's one big, beautiful bill passing. What does it mean for Indians, students, and the future of America? Let's dive right in.
On this vote, the yeas are 218, the nays are 214. The motion is adopted.
In a monumental win for the Trump administration, the U.S. House of Representatives has officially passed the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, a sweeping piece of tax and spending legislation that is being hailed by supporters as a bold, transformative move towards streamlining the economy, enforcing fiscal responsibility, and empowering working Americans. President Trump announced the passage, declaring it, and I quote, the biggest bill of its kind ever signed, and promising that it would, and I quote again, turn this country into a rocket ship. And while the legislation has drawn intense debate, it's also including several revisions that directly benefit millions, especially non-citizen residents, international professionals, students, and immigrant families, including the large Indian diaspora in the U.S. Among the most meaningful outcomes for the Indian American community is a major revision of the remittance tax, which was a part of the initial proposal. The original draft had a proposed 5% tax on all outbound remittances. This is money sent by U.S. residents to family or contacts abroad, in this case to India, through cash money orders or through cashier's checks. So what changed? Thanks to bipartisan negotiations and feedback from immigrant advocacy groups, the final version dramatically reduces the remittance tax to just 1%, ensuring minimal impact on day-to-day transactions while allowing the government to track high-volume transfers that could be tied to illicit activity. This revised provision is a direct win for over 4.5 million Indians living in the United States with family back in India. This includes green card holders, temporary work visa holders, international students on F1 or OPT visas, and undocumented workers sending money to family abroad. Now, why does this matter for Indians in America? Well, the Indian American community is one of the most professionally active and economically impactful, aka high-earning diaspora groups in the U.S. Every year, Indians in America send millions of dollars back home, often to support aging parents, pay for education or healthcare, or even invest in small businesses. The original 5% tax had a chilling effect, especially for young professionals, recent graduates, and even middle-income families trying to meet obligations in both countries. A new revised 1% rate is considered both sustainable and respectful, ensuring remittances remain viable while helping the government track funds more effectively. For H-1B visa holders who are already taxed as U.S. residents but don't receive the full benefits of citizenship, this revised rate avoids double pressure. Similarly, green card holders, many of whom maintain close ties with family in India, now face fewer barriers to financially support loved ones. The act also overhauls America's student loan and higher education policies. This is a move supporters say is long overdue. Here's what this act includes. Caps on federal loans, a $100,000 limit for master's degrees, a $200,000 limit for doctoral, law, or medical degrees, a phase-out of the Grad Plus loan program, previously allowed unlimited borrowing for graduate students, income-based aid eligibility, degree programs whose graduates earn below certain income thresholds will lose access to federal aid. Now, while some critics argue that these reforms could make higher education less accessible, proponents, including President Trump, of course, say the changes are about breaking the cycle of debt and restoring accountability to an unchecked sector. This shift may especially help international students from India, many of whom enter the U.S. system on tight financial margins and often face uncertainty about long-term debt repayment. With more oversight and clearer borrowing limits, students and families can make smarter as well as more sustainable education decisions. House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries was able to speak uninterrupted for 8 hours and 46 minutes straight, thanks to a House tradition known as the Magic Minute. Now, under this rule, party leaders in the House of Representatives are technically granted just 1 minute to speak, but they are then allowed to speak for as long as they wish without being interrupted or cut off. This is not a formal rule, but a long-standing courtesy extended to leaders of both parties, typically used for ceremonial statements or political messaging. Jeffries used, and I should say abused, the magic minute to deliver a symbolic and extended critique of Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill right before it passed, focusing on its perceived impact on working-class Americans, racial equity, and government programs. Although it had no procedural power to block the bill, the speech served to signal Democratic resistance and draw public attention. Ironically, several members of Congress criticized the move as a waste of time, with some even saying that it pushed them to support the bill just out of frustration. At its core, Trump's One Big Beautiful Act is about recalibrating government spending and restoring economic efficiency. Yes, it does impose tough choices, including cuts to Medicaid and food aid, reduced incentives for electric vehicles, and tightened student aid. But supporters say that it's part of a bigger picture, and that is controlling a ballooning national debt, rebuilding a strong middle class, and investing in American infrastructure, innovation, and national security. And for communities like Indians in America, the act does strike a balance. It preserves financial autonomy, it protects the right to support families abroad, and it ensures work and study opportunities remain viable. It also encourages responsible borrowing and long-term stability. So what's next here? Well, President Trump did sign this bill into law on July 4th, 2025. And as it goes into effect, its full impact will unfold gradually. But the direction here is clear. Less bureaucracy, more accountability, and a renewed push towards economic independence. For immigrants, for students, and for working professionals alike, the One Big Beautiful Act represents a shift, not away from opportunity, but towards smarter systems that reward work, responsibility, and contribution to the country. Thanks for watching The Indian Abroad on NDTV. Until next time, this is Priyanka Deo signing off. Namaste.